Hello everyone, hope you're getting ready for this week. Big week. The Lions Gateway is open, which really intensifies on the 8th of August and will also be impacted on the 11th with the heliacal rising of Sirius. Hopefully it's the most positive week we've had in a long time. There will be things that obviously will be coming up to let go of and review and renew, but it's important that we've been making this space for a reason and we want to fill the space with good energy, and this week is a perfect week to top up on it all. So without further ado, let's go into the astrology for this week. Okay, looking at the upcoming events for August. The 4th of August we have Uranus entering the final stages of pre-retrograde shadow period, which began back in May. It will finally go retrograde later this month, as we'll see. The 8th of August we have the Leo new moon, which is also on the 0808 Lions Gateway day. A few days later, the 11th of August, we have the heliacal rising of Sirius over Giza, which kind of marks the end of the Lions Gateway. Some say it kind of rolls into the goes into the 12th as well, but really from the 4th to the 11th is this pure period of energy. The 19th of August, Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus, so that means that all of the outer planets are retrograde. And the 22nd of August 21, we actually have the second Aquarian full moon in the critical degree of 29 degrees. Later, just 9 hours after the full moon, the sun enters Virgo. Themes for the week, this week, 5th to 11th of August. See, we have that new moon energy with vibrant Leo in the Lions Gateway portal. Alignment with Sirius, its mini manifesting season. We also have high spiritual activity from the 5th to the 11th due to the Lions Gateway, so it's being receptive to new messages, guides and old energies, new energies, letting some old stuff go, as is usually the case. Uranus is in the final stages of the pre-retrograde shadow in Taurus, and the moment before all outer planets are retrograde, and the big review goes even deeper until October. And a quick example is, if you look at this chart, the yellow bit is the core inner self, that's those first primary 5. Then the green bit is the mutable self, which is where you start connecting. It's where the boundaries are forming, our expansion through Jupiter and our association with authority and rules for the self, and with the outer world through Saturn. And then the cosmic self in blue is the more spiritual shadow transmitting energies, transmuters. It's Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. And we're going to have everything other than those 5 in the middle. Everything's going to be retrograde in terms of planets. It's going to be part of the big review cycle. And of course we've also got Chiron is retrograde as well. So moving on to the chart for the 5th of August 2021, it's the 11:11 time I've chosen standard. We start with the sun in Leo at 13 degrees and the moon in Cancer at 7. Mercury in Leo is at 17 degrees. Venus in Virgo is 17 degrees. Mars in Virgo is at 4 degrees. Jupiter's 29 degrees retrograde in Aquarius. Saturn's 10 degrees retrograde in Aquarius. Uranus in Taurus is 14 degrees. Neptune in Pisces retrograde 22. Pluto in Capricorn is retrograde at 25. Lilith in Gemini 2 degrees. And Chiron in Aries retrograde at 12 degrees. With the sun conjuncting Mercury trine Chiron, Sun opposite Saturn, Moon sextile Mars, Venus opposite Neptune, Venus trine Uranus, Mars opposite Jupiter, Saturn square Uranus, Neptune sextiles Pluto, Jupiter squares Lilith. We have Jupiter in this critical degree in Aquarius retrograde, Uranus in this deep pre-retrograde shadow, and we have Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune and Chiron all retrograde. Starting with the astrology for today, we have the Sun in Leo with the waning moon in Cancer, almost ready to transmute to the new moon in Leo on Sunday. Mars has joined Venus by moving into Virgo, whilst Mercury is also in Leo. The Sun conjuncts Mercury, which needs help in its opposition to Saturn. They are lessening in tension as Saturn is retrograde, going backwards, they're going 9 degrees, and the Sun and Mercury are going forwards in astrological terms. This leaves room for others aspects to be focused on. So we have Venus opposite Neptune and Venus trine Uranus. Venus in Virgo is much more controlled than she was in Leo. The pride and ego has gone down a notch, but the inner critic and search for perfection has increased. Especially when it comes to romantic or work partners, it just becomes very amplified. Trining Uranus is a good combination in terms of oomph and get on with it energy, but it also increases the stubbornness and causation of standoffs. Neptune is this placement. It's deceptive to poor old Venus, who may be falling for the wrong energy or person or situation, so it's just something to be aware of at this moment. Mars opposite Jupiter. Now that Mars is in Virgo, it gets down to this get on with it type of energy. You're going from the kind of pride where it was before. Jupiter is showing signs of rebellion in Aquarius retrograde. So there may be a battle of wills as to getting down and on with it. If there is pressure and there's unfair exchange involved. A big example would be if you were a civil servant and you haven't had a pay rise at all, while you're seeing others are getting treatment and pay rises and $1 million, $1 billion contracts going elsewhere. Should you just stick your head down and get on with it when you're not truly valued and respected, or maybe it would be time to move on and out of that space into a place where you are valued and respected. Neptune sextiles Pluto, which is a really great aspect for spiritual folks. This is perhaps as new age an aspect as there is. It's a good sign for the spiritual community to have present this week, especially moving on through this Lion's Gate. And so with all the retrogrades and aspects, this leads me to see the influences as part of the clear out that is 2021. We have been going through Pisces and Aquarius placements. The veil has lifted. Then the space has been there to be filled in with something else, whether that's great clarity or it's deception or a little bit of both. We've had this energy of rising up against tyranny, or to say, okay, you know better than me and that's the way it is. I reckon we've all been somewhere on the spectrum here. So I ask you now to continue with your purification. If something doesn't smell right, don't eat it all up. You've got intuition and the internet or libraries to look things up. You've also got your spiritual compass and internally. And I guess it depends how far along you are on the path as to how you experience this. I've found this part of the journey can be quite difficult, as you can end up losing friends and connections as you move forwards, or if you take a step backwards and others are moving forwards, it can just be out of sync. And of course that can be sad, or it can be a relief depending on the connections. But you just need to know that these new connections that you make are the ones that are going to help take you forward, as well as the ones that are truly dependable that you've already got. If in doubt, shine a light or ask Spirit to help the truth come out this week. Remember that there are deceivers out there, so that discernment is always useful tool to have at your discretion. It's from this space that we can move forwards, we can move into joy, and we can move into the next phase of this age. And now to the new moon in Leo and the Lion's Gateway portal energies. 8th of August 2021, 2:50 British Summer Time. Sun and Moon both in Leo at 16 degrees, forming the new moon in Leo. Mercury is also in Leo at 23 degrees. Venus in Virgo is 20 degrees. Mars in Virgo at 6 degrees. Jupiter is now 28 degrees retrograde in Aquarius. Saturn in Aquarius at 9 degrees retrograde. Uranus in Taurus 14. Neptune in Pisces 22 retro. Pluto in Capricorn 25 retro. Lilith in Gemini 2 degrees. And Chiron in Aries retrograde 12. Main aspects for this date: Sun conjunct Moon, new moon. Sun and Moon are opposite Saturn and square Uranus. It's a weak T-square because there's 7 degrees between the Sun, Moon and that opposition to Saturn. Mercury is opposite Jupiter, which does affect our communication. Venus opposite Neptune. Venus trine Pluto. Saturn square Uranus. Neptune sextile Pluto, and Jupiter square Lilith. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Chiron, or retrograde. So to start off with, the Lion's Gate, or Gateway, is associated with the Sun's annual alignment with Sirius, where it rises again before the time of inundation, which begins with the flood seasons and prosperity. It was a great sign in ancient Egypt, as it was the meaning that the Nile was replenishing, the cycles were all starting again, and their crops would grow. So Sirius, or Sotis, as the Egyptians may have called it, is spiritually aligned and associated with star beings, and that includes lion people and dragons, amongst other things. Lions dominate the energy here, as the Sun is in Leo at this point. The spiritual messages and energies people who are open to channel can be truly amazing at this time of year. You can call it upgrades or downloads, if you will. So we have the new moon appearing at 2:50 PM in the UK, or around 9:50 on the east coast of North America. We have some definite alliances today, pairings of planets and signs. The Leo alliances here are Sun, Moon and Mercury. Virgo alliances are Venus and Mars together. And Jupiter and Saturn are paired together in Aquarius. So that's the first 7 all in just these 3 signs. It's the outer and shadows that are in different placements of Aries, Taurus, Pisces, Gemini and Capricorn. Aspects wise, it's not too different through the week, other than the new moon and the moon's placements. Conjunction between the Sun and the moon for the new moon is always a driver to change, as planting seeds, taking actions for the period ahead, and it's a very good time to be doing your new moon rituals. This new moon offers a leg up, with the energy portal being open on the 8th of the 8th, the 0808. It feels like, once again, this is a sign for those who want to see it. A very, very good sign. And there have been many this year already. We do have another Yod, which I touched on in the post last week, with Saturn and Chiron sextiling, and then the focus is Mars in Virgo, which suggests a solution to a problem comes from assessing your drive and impulse control. The challenge was posed from the authority and the ego wounds. So look out for what your wounded ego and relationships with authority, or rebelling against authority, what those issues are. That's where you can assess your drive and impulse control. The arrow Yod has Pluto and Neptune sextiling, whilst at the top the Sun and the Moon, with Mercury not too far ahead. Help comes with the arrow Yod from expansive Jupiter, who's in the reactionary position, who sits in Aquarius. So this kind of entwines with the other Yod. Another way perhaps of looking at this is, what is stopping me from being true and really aligned with my higher purpose? Do I need to ignore my generation? Do I need to look past any illusions and deceptions, false friends, false alliances, fake news? Move into my own space, away from the distractions, expand my aura, my Merkaba energy field, and become much more aligned with the I am energy. It feels like this is a big time energy shift. It's possible as this week goes on. Now the software says that there's a grand Earth trine with Pluto, Uranus and Mercury, but the angles are up to sort of 10 degrees out, and although I would like it to be here because it's, it will be a big one on this poignant day, I don't think it really counts, so I'm not going to go into it here. And that takes us to the end of the astrology report for this week. I hope you've enjoyed listening, and I hope you really enjoy the fantastic energies that are coming here. The Lion's Gateway truly open, and we've got until Monday, Tuesday to soak it all in, man. This is Phoenix saying goodbye. Cheerio.